Hey guys, what's up and welcome back to this YouTube channel. It's your guy Igor here. Well, the Canada real estate market crash. Calgary real estate market crash here in Calgary, Alberta, with all the things that are happening here, with all the unemployment, with all the Trump's tariffs, with all the elections, with all the what's going on the market. Let's cover this on this short video right now. So, what's happening on the market right now in real estate, guys? It's a freaking weird market. David, the sales are down by 19%, yet the prices seem to be climbing over the last 90-day period. In some price ranges, you see the condos and houses sitting on the market, lowering down the price and not getting sold. While when you book a home that you want to see, a detached home that came on the market 1 or 2 days ago, it's pending, it's off the market. Got sold in multiple offers. What the hell happened? Like, how is that even possible in this market? It's the strangest time we live in, when the sales are down but the prices seem to be climbing. Meanwhile, in some neighborhoods, the houses are, especially newer ones where there's plenty of houses are on the market, they're sitting there and prices have been declining. But some old trashy houses, you would say, not so good looking, coming out in the communities and getting sold in 1 or 2 days on the market. They go pending, sometimes in multiple offers. So what is actually happening on the Calgary market right now with all of these tendencies? So we have a weirdest market right now. It's a mixed one. So condos in 250 to 400 range are better than the condos that are over 400 range, let's say. More difficult to sell right now. There is detached houses. What's the problem with the condos? Guys, I work as a realtor with AXP Realty. My wife is mortgage broker with DLC Clear Trust Mortgages, guys. And I'll tell you, right now, I'll tell you what's going on in the market with the clients that I'm working with. So, for example, I sold somebody's townhouse. And I also purchased a house. By the way, they're going to be getting the keys for the house before their townhouse is officially sold. This way, these people would be able, my clients would be able to move into their house before their keys for their townhouse are released to the buyers. It's crazy, right? Did you even know you could do that? I didn't know that you can do that kind of mortgage as well, but it is doable. And this way, a person moves into the house before the townhouse, is basically transferred to the ownership that they owned before. So they can actually move into their own house before the townhouse is actually sold. Goes to a different owner. That's actually interesting. Is it risky? Maybe. Is it a great idea? Maybe. It all depends, but it's possible. And I didn't know about that. My wife is with she's actually with mortgage architects. She changed her brokerage. She's with mortgage architects right now. So she got them fine condition like that. And one more townhouse I'll be selling very soon in southwest of Calgary, and we'll be buying as well a house. A lot of people right now on the market are upsizing. So you'll see more condos coming up on the market. Like a year and a half ago, I was buying mostly condos and townhouses for everyone, like almost 2 years ago maybe. And now I'm mostly buying houses and selling condos. And people are upsizing, at least from my client base, I would say, guys, which is an interesting tendency. Now, why are the condos seem to be going down in prices right now? And they actually went up. But a lot of time, the reason why they seem to be going down is because people are trying to get last year's prices in today's market. So people are like, well, you know what? Last year when people were buying the condos, the property, the city's assessment, the overpriced assessment that a lot of us got, people looked at those assessments, and honestly, people are like, well, they don't believe that their properties are not as expensive as they were last summer, let's say, when there was insane market boom going on there until August. And people still want last year's prices today. And that's why a lot of them are sitting in their, The thing is, they see the parallel reality where they want to see the market how they want to see it, but they don't want to see how the market is. And it's difficult to convince a lot of sellers because in the current market, they don't see what the market is right now. They want what the market was there before last year, and they refuse to believe in the reality of the realities of the current market. But the truth is, the market doesn't care about them. Market never does. People, I had I had a really interesting conversation with one of the peoples who wants to sell a property, and we had a really weird conversation where a person said that, look, I expect this from the market. And I said, well, the reality, I'm trying to be really professional and polite, but the reality is market doesn't care what you expect. Honestly, the market is market. And people are saying, so that person asked me, what's the market value? I'm saying, look, the market value is what the market is willing to pay for your property at the current market situation as of today. So the current market value is literally a value that somebody is willing to write you an offer for your property today. That's the market value. It can be very different compared on many things. Number one is, of course, marketing. How many people come to see your property? That's why I always say, guys, don't go on a discount. Realtors who use a potato like 2012, my college graduation camera, my university graduation camera, that prints a date on the bottom of it, like the date. Not even an iPhone. Take your pictures like that, and does zero marketing. And then people are like, well, I think the market is bad. Marketing is bad. Marketing was not that bad, but you chipped out. You saved some money. Maybe you saved, maybe you saved $1,000, but you lost 20. That's not saving. That's a loss. That's like $19,000 loss, potentially. But anyways, so the market doesn't care on what's actually happening, and a lot of people, they still think that the market should care. People would say, well, you know what? I put so much of renovations. I put so much of hopes. Like all my friends in the past years, they made so much of money. I also want to make so much of money. If I sell it, I want to make sure that I'm at least 100 grand from last year in profit. But that's not the reality. That's not the market it is. And on and on and on, they look at it, and then they want to have a certain margin after all the expenses. What are the expenses of selling your property? Well, number one expense, probably the highest one of the highest ones, is of course commissions to pay realtors, buyers and seller side, mortgage penalties if you have those, then of course lawyer fees and like real property report, condominium documents, whatever. That's a separate video. But anyways, there is plenty, or even inspection if you're buying a home. There's plenty of expenses associated with buying or selling real estate. And the reality is, those guys are seizing the market. They're lowering down the price slowly, and they don't want to lower down the price. You'll see some of those properties sitting there for more than half a year, and people are like, well, I'm not going below this price. I don't care what the market thinks. It has to sell at this price. And those are the things that you see a lot on the market. Now, what's going on with the condos? Why is there so many of them? So-called investors. I don't like calling people investors. So many people, guys, once you're in real estate for so many years like I am, when you're dealing with that, you start to read people so well. Like literally, in sales, you start to see a lot of people with the same kind of tendencies. Like 90% of people who come to me and tell me that they are investors, 90% of them are first-time home investors, not real investors. The real investors are the people who never told me that they were investors, but I put them into my CRM as an investor because I know that they are an investor. Those guys, they just say, I like to buy properties, or, I just own a couple of properties and I just want to buy another one, and that's it. But people who come and say they're investors, they watched a bunch of YouTube videos, most likely in the United States, from some, I don't know from who, and they start buying. A lot of people from Toronto, guys, there is a loophole. A lot of people from Toronto have got paid commissions without having a license in Calgary, in Alberta. So what happened is, a lot of realtors, I don't want to say bad things about realtors, but a lot of realtors in Toronto found a loophole through the builders to bypass Canadian legislation, provincial legislations, their own legislation, and they made agreements with builders where they would get paid. They're not allowed to get commissions, so the builders would pay it to them as a referral fee instead of commission, and they would bypass the provincial legislation and still get paid in Alberta. And they helped a lot of people just to get commissions, invest into Calgary with the pretense of a reassignment clause. So basically you can sell the property without becoming the owner, without pre-approvals, taking a huge risk. I know at least few people who went through that. You know how I know is because they called me. They're like, hey Igor, do you know this guy in Toronto, the realtor? I'm like, I have no idea who you're talking about. I don't know all the realtors in Calgary. There's thousands of them here. But if you're telling me in Toronto, like how the hell would I know? There's probably, I don't know how many realtors are in Toronto, probably more realtors than a population of Calgary. I'm just joking, but I'm just making fun of it. And I'm saying, so what happened? They're like, yeah, I put a deposit. I don't have pre-approval. I don't have a mortgage. And I have to get my keys. I need to get it sold. The property is in Calgary. I find out that it's Chestermere. They purchased just like through Google Maps, like mud, like something, a crater, that there was no properties existing at that time. And now it's time to get the keys. Construction is getting done. They are getting their keys. And guess what's happening, guys? They cannot take possession of that property. They are losing their deposits. And all of those properties are coming for sale now from so-called to-be investors, people who told everyone they're investors, and they're losing a lot of money. And unfortunately, I know a couple of people who reached out to me from Toronto, from my community, I'm talking about Ukrainian community, who called me and say, Igor, like, I don't know what to do. Like, you're in Calgary, you probably know better. Help me out, I need your help. And I work here with the experience, like, what should I do? And I'm like, what did you do? I got a condo with no condo fees. I'm like, condo with no condo fees. Are you sure about that? They're like, I'm pretty sure. I need you to sell it. And then we find out there's condo fees. Then we find out it's not even in Calgary. And then we find out that it's not even worth selling. It's not even worth taking possession. I just provide them with the facts. And I feel really bad for those people. Like, it's very difficult to look at people who are losing money like that. And a lot of those, just a few only people who, only small portion who reached out to me. But there is more people who don't reach out to anyone. They just embrace the fact. They're like, I don't know what to do. This is what I have. And that's the reality. And well, shit. Yeah, just like the people invest into stocks, and then Trump comes in with his stupid tariffs, and then Dow Jones goes down. The same thing happened with real estate. And it's pretty bad. Like, I hate seeing people losing money. And a lot of those properties are coming up for sale right now. So that's another problem, guys. And you see it over and over again here all over Alberta. Plus the rents went down by $200, in some cases $300. Let me cross the road here a little bit. By $200, $300, guys. And that's another thing. But also the interest rates went down. So we have this kind of weird situation in the Calgary market where there's plenty of condos and townhouses out there now, and not so many older houses. And there's two markets actually. So like, don't get confused what I'm saying about. Like, guys, I'm telling you about, for example, houses. You would say, Igor, but look at the pre-construction. They're giving away free basements right now, free upgrades and things like that. Guys, they're two separate beings, two separate markets. Resale, that's what I'm talking about in this video, and pre-construction. Yeah, and those ones are different. It's a different situation there. So don't mix two kinds of real estates into one basket, guys. They're not the same. It looks like the same. It looks like apples to apples, but it's not. And also, there's a lot of people who are waiting for uncertainty. Like, about 30% of my clients right now are sitting on, they're like, I don't know who's going to win. I don't know if, like, right now I'm doing good, but I'll give away the money. But what if the economy goes down? What if I lose my deposit? I don't know. What if I'm not going to have a job with the stupid Trump's tariffs? I don't know if it's going to be Mark Carney or Pierre Poilievre with the elections. So we do feel the shift in the market, in the spring market, but this month was supposed to be way busier. I forecasted telling that this month is going to be busy. Now it is busy for me because I have 4 closings this month. So 4 keys transactions are happening this month. It's busy for me, but it's slower compared to other years because of the elections in Canada, because of the Trump's uncertainty. Because some people, but I would say 30% of people that I work with, statistically, that's about, I rounded up from, only from my perspective, it's not like doubt data out there, but I work with a lot of people. I say about 30% of people like, let's see until the end of the month how things are. Like, I don't feel very comfortable. It's insane. Trump on the other side of the border to the south. This is, we don't know who's going to win the elections. A lot of people want to see what happens with the elections. Will there be GST breaks? Will there be new TFSA's account? Will there be a new first-time home savings account? Will there be new benefits for buying a home? Who's going to be out of the government? How are they going to negotiate with the Trump? Like, and will I have a job by tomorrow? So about 30% of people are like that. I would say about 30% of people who are like, yeah, there's something going on, but I need a home, and I really don't give a damn about what's going on. And there's also a small percentage of people who are trying to time the market. They're like, I hope it crashes so I can get a bargain. Nobody knows there is a bargain, but I'll get a bargain. I'll jump on the market as soon as I feel there is a crash, and I'm going to get a free house. There are some people like that. But in reality, guys, I'm more with those people who are the 30% of people who, if they need a house, they buy a house. Um, I think it's a terrible idea if you are trying to time the market or you're trying to profit on real estate on your first home. I say that with the most smartest investors that I work with, the biggest ones who have many houses, I'm talking 20 plus houses, let's say, and commercial and residential real estate combined too, people who own multiplexes and residential and commercial ones. I like talking to those guys. I'm not licensed in commercial real estate, so I don't, not yet at least. I'm actually doing the course for that. But talking to those guys as, so what do you do? They're like, well, you close your eyes, you make sure it cash flows, you buy, you have to take risk if you want to make money, if you want to be an investor. You buy real estate and and you just wait. And and you make sure that it cash flows. And over the one period of time, like a decade or two, it doesn't matter. But if you are the one who is trying to gamble like in 2-3 year span, 5 year span, well, you might win, but you'll probably lose. But if you go through a span of 10, 20, 30 years, you're more likely to win than to lose. And really, I was like, so what's the strategy? Market goes down, goes down. They're like, the strategy is to buy 1 or 2 houses every single year through your life for the next 30 years. That's the strategy. But if you're thinking you can time the market, then you're probably going to lose. So that's guys, 5 cents from experienced investors that I talk to who actually have a lot of wealth. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I want to read your comments. I work with eXp Realty. My wife is with a mortgage architect. She's a mortgage broker. She's Indian. If you need some help with your Indian community and you're like, hey, I don't want to call this white guy here. Honestly, guys, this is weird. This is what I've been, what some of my Indian friends, because I'm a lot into Indian community, not only Ukrainian, tell me that they're like, they feel uncomfortable working with me because I'm not Indian. And I'm like, look, guys, I'm totally comfortable working with any culture, with any race, with anyone. My wife is Indian. So how can I be not comfortable working with somebody who is not Indian, guys? That's weird. Anyways, thanks for watching. See you next video, and bye for now.